1987, 1997, I don't know. When did you graduate? Would you go back to high school? Shane Feldman is joining us this morning to talk about his new docuseries, Undercover High. Well done on convincing everyone you were a teenager.
Come on, look at this face. It wasn't that hard.
Well, we need to play the game right now. Right? How old are you?
I'm 23 right now.
23 years old, and you pulled off 17?
Yeah, being a senior in high school.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the high school where you went undercover?
Sure. It was a high school in Topeka, Kansas, very representative of a typical high school in North America. It was about a third Hispanic, a third African American, a third Caucasian, and about 70% of students on the free lunch program, so a significant amount of poverty and challenge in that regard. But just a very culturally diverse school with a lot of the challenges you would find in any typical high school here or anywhere else in the continent, really.
So you were one of 7 young adults that went undercover for a full semester, taking the curriculum, going through the motions to appear that you are part of that class. What did you experience that surprised you in terms of what you saw and what you heard? Because the objective of this was to find out how parents can connect with their kids.
Absolutely. That was definitely my objective going in. How can we bring teens closer with their parents, with their teachers? And what I found going in was that there's more need for that than ever before. There is this scary growing disconnect between teenagers and really adults in general. This is a generation that feels so misunderstood, rightfully so, and they feel this lack of compassion and empathy just because they feel like they are these foreign beings growing up in this technological age. And of course, social media, technology, smartphones are just bringing them further away from their parents and teachers. So how do we close that gap? That's ultimately become my mission coming up.
Well, when I watched some of the clips of your show and you mentioned technology, I think that's one of the huge differences between when we went to high school and today's high school students. So how are smartphones coming into play in the classroom?
As the ultimate distraction. Not just that, I mean, it's still something that's so new. I mean, you think about smartphones, social media in general, we're really probably about 5,000 days into that. So it's very new, even though we use it so readily in our everyday lives. And in the classroom, a lot of teachers don't have strict rules in place. They don't even know how to use them necessarily themselves sometimes. So they're really dominating the classroom, and students are so sucked into technology sometimes that they're so disconnected, not only from schoolwork, but from community in general.
What's the biggest fear that you observed with students that exist today? I mean, we've seen 13 Reasons Why. People speculate what's going on. This show is not Hollywood. This show is an honest look at the challenges going on. But the biggest fear that exists, and how do we overcome it?
My biggest fear is that not enough students have a caring adult or mentor in their life that is really not only looking out for them, but showing up, really showing up, because that's something that students can't get online through social media. What we need more than ever are teachers that forget about academics and teaching, teachers that just walk into the room with empathy and compassion, show up, and are there for their students in every regard. Same with parents, same with mentors. That students just desperately want to be seen and heard, and it's our job to show up.
So Shane, it's been, what, about 5 years since you were in high school?
Yeah, about a decade since I started. 2012, I graduated.
Is there anything about your undercover high school experience and what that culture was like that you wished you had had 4 or 5 years ago?
You know what? It's interesting. In many ways, I feel like as different as things are, nothing has really changed. Walking back into the walls of that high school, I felt like I was right back at home in a sense. High school was kind of like my stomping ground. I had a really difficult start, as you guys know, to my high school experience, but I found my ebb and flow. I grew to love it. Count me in, of course, grew out of my high school experience. Now I work with high school students for a living and mentor them online, and, you know, I really feel like as challenging as things are, the overall high school experience is still what I remember it to be.
So perhaps not that different from 1997, Charles Hayes Senior Secondary, Prince Rupert. You were in Delta.
NDSS, pagers and payphones. That was the technology we had. You know, it's changed. Undercover High, still many episodes left. There's 10 episodes in the run, right?
11.
11?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you'll get to watch this experience on TV, ShaneFeldman.com, where you can follow Shane and his adventures as well. Congrats. This is an important show.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a break.